So when Lisa Leslie is on Angel Reese's podcast and gets asked anything you would want me to work on going into year 2, Lisa Leslie has a laundry list she's already written out. Your layups suck. Your layups suck. You can't finish. You can't finish. You can't. Lisa Leslie had a huge list.
Ever wondered what happens when a basketball superstar's ego starts to outpace her talent? Angel Reese's new podcast, Unapologetically Angel, is offering us a front row seat to just that. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
I don't know what the scouts were looking at. I really don't. But following the 7, God has a plan, and it is what it is. And you ended up in Chicago, but I'm just telling you,
going into season,
you were ready.
Thank you. Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
From WNBA legends ripping her layups to painfully low viewership numbers, Reese's efforts to stay in the spotlight are backfiring in the cringiest way imaginable. You won't believe the stinging words her own mentor, Lisa Leslie, had to say about her game. Stick with us as we unpack this train wreck that's got the entire basketball world talking. Ready for the ride? Let's go. Here's the kicker. Angel Reese just can't seem to escape Caitlin Clark's shadow, even on her own turf. Reese kicked off Unapologetically Angel to show fans a side of her beyond the court, but it's quickly spiraled into a series of awkward missteps. No matter who she's chatting with or what they start talking about, the conversation always circles back to one name, Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese on the Unapologetically Clout-Chasing Caitlin Clark podcast. I think that's what it's called. Unapologetic Clout-Chasing of Caitlin Clark podcast, hosted by Angel Reese.
It's like Caitlin Clark has become this uninvited guest star Reese just can't shake. Is it the guests who keep mentioning her? Or is Reese unknowingly steering the conversation straight to Clark Island? You've got to wonder what's really going on in Reese's mind. Is it fierce rivalry, hidden admiration, or is Clark simply that dominant in women's basketball at the moment?
So when you say Cheryl swoops Caitlin Clark, it's like, oh my goodness, Cheryl doesn't like her, so let's see what this is about. And like, all of that's stupid to me. It's not true, it's all stupid. And also, now they may be mad when I say this, because it's funny to me. Like, when I look at the number 22s in the league, like I was 22, Asia's 22, Caitlin's 22. Like, those are some hell of a good number 22s.
Period.
And we're all a part of the Nike family.
Let's break this down. Episode after episode, the same pattern keeps popping up. 1 minute, Reese is talking about her go-to pregame routine, and the next, bam, someone's raving about Clark's latest record-breaking feat. It's almost laughable how predictable it's become. Fans on social media are having a blast with it, joking that the podcast should be rebranded as The Caitlin Clark Show, hosted by Angel Reese.
Because of women's basketball, whenever you think of Angel Reese, people often mention Caitlin Clark. You've said in interviews, there's no beef, but the media keeps going on. This is your platform, so how do you feel about that situation?
I think just being able to be in that moment of it happening, you never realize how something can literally change your life. And knowing my 5 fingers and my other finger pointing at my hand could literally have changed my life for like forever is crazy.
But here's where it gets interesting. All this Clark-centric chatter might actually be helping Reese out more than we think. Every time Clark's name pops up, it's bringing more eyes to Reese's podcast. Even basketball analysts are catching on, noting how Reese's efforts to focus on her own story often get buried under the weight of Clark's accomplishments.
Why do you think people love Caitlin Clark, besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before. That's my point. Steph Curry, a little kid. Like, Steph Curry, I love, you know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before.
You've got to wonder what this is doing to Reese's image and the vision she had for her podcast. Did she set out to create a space where she'd be constantly compared to Clark? Or is this just an unexpected turn in the Angel Reese saga? There's a thin line between staying relevant and becoming obsessed, and right now, it's tough to say which side Reese is on. Want to know what Reese's so-called mentor had to say about her?
Lisa Leslie appears on Angel Reese's podcast, Unapologetically Angel. She gives angels some advice. Just a hint, it has to do with her layups.
You thought the Caitlin Clark comparisons were rough? Well, Angel Reese's latest podcast episode just took a sharp detour into Awkward City when WNBA legend Lisa Leslie showed up in the Unapologetically Angel studio. Fans were probably expecting some easygoing chat and maybe a few pearls of wisdom. Instead, they got a front row seat to what can only be called a public roasting. Leslie, apparently not one for softening the blow, decided to keep it 100, and I mean really 100.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period.
Let's break this down, shall we? Leslie, a two-time WNBA champ and one of the most dominant players in women's basketball history, didn't waste a second getting straight to the point. She looked Reese dead in the eye and dropped this truth bomb. The biggest advice I have for you is how you shoot your layups, period. Ouch. Can you imagine trying to host your own show while your basketball idol basically tells you your fundamentals are in serious need of some TLC? But wait, it gets better. Or worse, depending on how you see it.
It's just a fact. She is, it's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats. I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13%.
Leslie didn't just stop at calling out Reese's layup form. She went full statistician on us, dropping the cold, hard numbers. She pointed out that Reese shot a rough 39.1% from the field during her rookie season. Now, for those of you who aren't basketball buffs, that's not exactly impressive, especially when you consider that Reese was shooting under 50% on shots less than 5 feet from the basket. Ouch.
This is like WNBA leveling up and all eyes on her now. I think that she knows that she has to completely restructure her form because that is not the way to be efficient in the post position that she is in. At the post position that she's in, a layup is supposed to be a given. She needs to improve her touch around the rim like all over the place, but she seems to take these desperation shots.
Now, picture this. Reese, probably sweating bullets, doing her best to keep it together as Leslie just keeps dropping these brutal truths. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You can't look away. The tension in that studio had to be so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Keep in mind, this is the same Angel Reese who spent all season battling stat padding allegations, to the point where her coach got fired. Heck, even Kennedy Carter threw some shade on her way out of Chicago.
Kennedy Carter Instagram account right here, guys. And I'm here to tell you, bruh, she been going on a little rant all night long. Now, this is the tweet right here that kind of sparked everything. She stated, I think the ability to consistently make layups just put anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. Now, a lot of people is insinuating that this tweet is towards Angel Reese.
Here's the thing about pro athletes. They love spilling the tea on social media. And when it comes to the Chicago Sky, Kennedy Carter just cranked the heat up to full blast. You know those cryptic tweets that leave you thinking, wait, what's really going on here? Well, Carter dropped a real gem that had everyone connecting the dots faster than you can say layup. She tweeted about the importance of making layups. Sounds innocent enough, right? Wrong. See, Angel Reese had been struggling with her layups all season long. We're talking a dismal 42.4% success rate, the worst in the WNBA. That's not just bad. That's maybe you should try underhand bad. Out of 321 attempts, Reese only made 136. Ouch.
Just like I've been telling y'all, bro. She has been making it her business to sneak this Angel Reese every chance she get. Now, since she's been cut, it look even more obvious. Somebody said, LOL, you ain't down. Now, this tweet right here just popped up here. Somebody tried to come into the defense of her because we know she's a free agent. So, like, if you throw teammates, ex-teammates under the bus, that's going to hurt you even more.
But hold up, there's more. When a fan posted a graphic showing Reese's layup percentages, Carter couldn't resist chiming in. Translation for anyone who doesn't speak Twitter: you nailed it. Let's be real. Subtle as a sledgehammer, right? This public critique isn't just about Reese's layups or shooting percentages. It's about bigger issues with her playing style and approach to the game. When someone with Leslie's pedigree takes the time to break down your weaknesses so thoroughly, it's clear these problems aren't just rookie jitters or small flaws. They're red flags.
Has nobody mentioned this to Angel Reese through 17 to 23 years old? So every time she would meet a legend or meet somebody in the WNBA, meet a player, instead of saying, "Hey, Angel, let me talk to you real quick," instead of looking out for her, you guys just do this again, because it's okay. It's okay.
You've got to wonder what this does to Reese's relationship with Lisa Leslie. Is this the beginning of the end for their mentorship? Or could it actually be the wake-up call Reese needs to level up her game? The dynamic between them just shifted in a big way. After all, when someone like Lisa Leslie, arguably one of the greatest to ever play the game, tells you to fix something, you'd better sit up and listen. That kind of feedback doesn't come lightly. It's tough love, sure, but it's also a gift. Reese is at a crossroads right now. Will she take this as a sign to buckle down, address her weaknesses, and get serious about her future? Or will she push back and ignore the advice from a legend who's been through it all? This isn't just about basketball. It's about how Reese handles criticism, how she handles growth, and how she chooses to show up for herself in the face of challenges. That relationship with Leslie is pivotal. It could either be a turning point or the beginning of a rift. The next few moves Reese makes will reveal a lot about her character and whether she's ready to embrace the tough lessons that come with being a true star in the making.
We've got ESPN's ranks of WNBA players right now, and Caitlin Clark is really high. One could argue she's not high enough, but I think it's pretty surprising for a lot of these folks. I will tell you this straight up. Angel Reese ain't nowhere to be found in the top 10. She's not involved. You're not here. Sorry, but not sorry. You're not to be seen.
Angel Reese is in complete disarray after ESPN dropped their 2025 rankings. Reality hit her harder than any defender she's ever boxed out this season. She strutted around convinced she was the undisputed queen of the court, exuding that "I define women's basketball" vibe, only to be shocked when ESPN didn't place her in the top 5 or even the top 10, but at 12th. Yep, 12th. And let's be real, that's still way too high. But hey, it looks like the crown slipped. Now she's reacting as if someone swiped her favorite pair of designer sunglasses, going full meltdown mode. Maybe ESPN just replayed her latest blooper reel at Unrivaled.
So, let's all get a laugh together here, because this is the list. And you see the list, right? Well, I don't see, correct me if I'm wrong, do you see Angel Reese on this list?
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is comfortably holding on to second place, completely unfazed, letting her performance speak for itself while Reese scrambles to keep her reputation intact. It's crazy to think that not long ago, everyone was trying to manufacture a rivalry, pitting Reese against Clark as if it were a genuine debate. Remember when even the commissioner was joining in on the hype?
Magic moment, if you recall, from 1979 when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Well, consider that debate a closed chapter. The divide isn't just obvious, it's downright embarrassing. Clark never even broke a sweat, effortlessly outpacing her rival, while Reese is probably busy rage scrolling through her mentions, trying to tweet away the sting. Still skeptical? Check the facts. Let's be real. This is pure humiliation for Angel Reese. She had all the hype, the media frenzy, and every bit of trash talk at her disposal. She built her brand on being that unstoppable game changer. But when it came time to back it up, she ended up stranded outside the top 10, clutching nothing more than a participation trophy. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has been quietly dominating, dropping triple-doubles, shattering 62 records, and effortlessly redefining what it means to be a sports superstar. No gimmicks, no excuses, just unfiltered dominance.
Okay. And lo and behold, I couldn't believe my eyes when I seen number 2. They had Caitlin Clark. I said, really?
And spare me the whole, but she's a double-double machine excuse. Sure, racking up double-doubles is impressive, but what's even more impressive? Being the main reason fans tune in to every game. Remember when ESPN practically radiated an anti-Clark vibe, as if they were allergic to admitting she was the standout? Well, even they had to eventually admit the truth. She's the magnet, the one drawing all the attention.
You know, a lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
The numbers don't fib, the stats are crystal clear, and now even the rankings are laying down the truth. Meanwhile, Angel Reese fans are squinting at the list, desperately scrolling as if her name were hidden in microscopic print. Sorry to break it to you, but landing in 12th place isn't exactly what you'd call superstar status. It's like showing up to an exclusive VIP bash convinced you're the guest of honor, only to be left waiting outside while Caitlin Clark is inside, commanding the room. And those critics of Caitlin Clark really pulled out every narrative in the book to paint Reese as being on her level. Now, it's just silence, crickets. Honestly, it's almost serene without all that noise, isn't it?
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She has energy, she has an attitude, she'll rebound you the basketball, great. Nothing else. She has nothing. She's got self-awareness. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
Let's not kid ourselves. If the roles were switched, the story would be entirely different. Picture this. Caitlin Clark dropping to 12th, while Angel Reese lounges comfortably at number 2. The internet would be ablaze, with sports shows devoting whole segments to dissecting it. Reese's fans would be celebrating like they just clinched the WNBA title. But now that Reese occupies the 12th spot, suddenly those rankings lose all their meaning. ESPN's list? Completely irrelevant. Funny how that conveniently shifts the narrative, isn't it?
If we did go off of how much winning Caitlin was doing, how she was contributing to winning, and then going off the viewership and all that, oh yeah, for sure. I think Caitlin should have won.
The truth is, rankings do matter, especially when you've built your entire persona around drawing eyes to women's basketball. And Caitlin Clark? She's locked in at number 2, though let's be honest, she ought to be number 1. But that's cool. She doesn't need to top the list to prove she's the face of the sport. Her record-breaking plays, packed arenas, and jaw-dropping highlights have already said it all. This ranking just confirms what we've known all along. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, yikes.
And now she knows it to the point that even when she's on the basketball court, she's aware, like, this ain't really my thing. Let me get this hot potato out of my hand and to somebody that knows what they're doing with it as soon as possible. You got to see this clip. This is a 3-on-3 basketball game. Angel Reese strips a player at one end, runs down court with the basketball, 3-4 steps ahead of everybody, has an easy layup, and throws it to the girl behind her.
What's even more hilarious is that ESPN has finally caught up with reality. Caitlyn has become indisputable. Remember last season when, for reasons that defied all logic, ESPN placed Angel Reese above Caitlin Clark on the rookie list? Yes, above the very Caitlin Clark who was out there breaking records like it was her day job, pulling up from the logo and making defenders question their entire careers. And what was Reese doing? Just vibing. That's really all there was to it.
And this is ESPN's list, y'all, not mine. So don't be chirping, getting mad if your fave isn't at the top. So at number 1, we have Cameron Brink. Number 2, Angel Reese. Number 3, Kate Martin. 4, Rakia Jackson. 5, Julie Vanloo. And 6, Caitlin Clark.
Now the truth is out, and the rankings finally mirror reality. Caitlin Clark isn't just great, she's a generational talent, while Angel Reese, maybe next time, try less talking and more hooping. Sure, Angel Reese did snag some rebounds, credit where it's due, but beyond that, what were we really watching? A highlight reel of missed shots, lackluster defense, and an offensive output emptier than a vending machine after midnight. Yet somehow, despite all the brick shots and defensive blunders, she was hailed as one of the top rookies, even pocketing a Rookie of the Year vote. Fast forward to today, and it seems the experts have finally opened their eyes. Maybe they actually watch the games now, or perhaps they stopped buying into the TikTok hype, or maybe reality hit them like a missed layup off the backboard. Either way, justice has been served because the more you watch Angel play, the more it's clear she hasn't improved. In fact, she might have even regressed.
You can't be selfish, because I seen you at the All-Star game before and you wanted to score and not pass the ball.
This guy said, did she really say you can't be selfish when she takes 30 shots and misses 27 of them instead of passing to her teammate?
Angel Reese just delivered the ultimate egg-on-your-face moment at the Super Bowl, and it's comedy gold. She called out another player for being a ball hog. Yes, that Angel Reese, the reigning queen of missed layups and ill-advised shots, pointing the finger at someone else for not sharing the rock. The irony is so thick, it's almost as heavy as her shot selection.
The NFL put this out last night. LSU legends Angel Reese, Jaden Daniels. Do not clump in Jaden with that bum. Angel only a legend in her own mind. A lot of people roasted the legend part. Legend and Angel Reese should never be in the same sentence. Reese wishes she was a legend like Caitlin Clark. Laugh out loud.
We've seen this story play out 1,000 times. Clanking layups, racking up rebounds off her own missed shots, and acting like double-doubles are impressive when half the points come from cleaning up her own mess. Meanwhile, her team mysteriously starts clicking when she's on the bench. But there she is, chasing the spotlight like it's a debt collector instead of, actually improving her game.
Angel showed up with her business out. You can see the business is just everywhere. Chesticles bouncing all over the place. She's not any good at basketball, so she has to show some skin to stay relevant.
While her teammates are putting in work at the gym, Angel Reese is front and center at the Super Bowl, trying to grab the spotlight like she's angling for a reality TV spot. But here's the kicker. It blew up in her face. Even her own fans couldn't back her this time, calling her out for chasing clout instead of focusing on basketball.
Unrivaled had games yesterday? This is their season. They got games tomorrow. Angel Reese, of course, as you can expect, would be in the basketball court, deep in the lab, really putting in work. Except she wasn't.
While Reese was busy playing fashion icon at the Super Bowl, Caitlin Clark was doing what she does best, putting in work. Clark doesn't need flashy outfits or viral moments to stay relevant. Her game speaks for itself. As Reese made headlines for all the wrong reasons, Clark was quietly dominating, inspiring the next generation, and proving once again she's operating on a whole different level. In fact, Clark skipped the Super Bowl altogether to focus on a workout and welcome her new teammate, DeWanna Bonner, to Indiana.
Now, we know Caitlin Clark is down in New Orleans as well, taking care of business, bruh. She's doing her Gatorade thing. She got a Nike commercial about to drop. She's doing drills. She's not on the red carpet half naked. I'm telling you, bruh, Caitlin Clark definitely looked like she's taking care of everything she needed to get done to go back to Indiana and finish getting ready for the 2025 season.
Let's talk about impact, because the numbers don't lie. Reese strutted around the Super Bowl like she was the main event. But Clark's jersey retirement, yeah, just the jersey retirement, pulled in 1.1 million viewers, and she wasn't even playing. That's right, Clark didn't even need to touch a basketball to outdraw Reese's actual games, which can barely scrape together 100,000 viewers on a good day.
Caitlin Clark being in the building, 1.1 million average viewers.
Angel Reese failed to break 100,000 viewers. Now tell me again how everybody's tuning in for you.
It couldn't be more obvious. Caitlin Clark is about greatness. Angel Reese is about attention. Reese's Super Bowl stunt was the perfect example of why she'll never be on Clark's level. She had the nerve to criticize another player for not passing the ball when she's literally the biggest ball hog in women's basketball. It's like LeBron James calling someone out for flopping. Honestly, make it make sense.
I see you miss layups just like they do and everything, but forget them. I mean, I miss layups too. So, I mean,
everybody miss layups, but they can't get mad if I get the rebound. Box me out.
Yeah.
You're like 6'4". Is there a reason you cannot hit a damn layup?
Don't be mad because your fave didn't box her out. That's what I say.
Reese has built a whole career on forcing bad shots, ignoring open teammates, and missing layups like it's her side hustle. Yet somehow, she's got the nerve to throw shade. The delusion is gold medal worthy. Let's talk about what's really going down in the league that stands head and shoulders above the rest. The league where Reese was supposed to prove that people actually watch for her too.
Yes, it is unrivaled. It is also unwatched. Look, let's be honest, we can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Zero zip, nothing. Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups? Not I.
Angel Reese is failing spectacularly. Her games are a train wreck, like a blooper reel stuck on loop. Missed layups, forced shots, and stats that don't add up. She'll chuck up 5 shots to make 1, and her fans act like she's out here putting up triple doubles. But let's be real, she's just cleaning up her own mess. The truth is, a lot of people are just tuning in to watch her blooper reel.
Is there anybody else in the WNBA or NBA that does this more than Reese? From tonight's game, third quarter, in 16 seconds, Reese took 4 shots, missed the first 3 shots, got an offensive rebound off her own 3 misses, and then finally made the 4th. But, quote, double-double, this looks just like Chicago Sky shit from last year.
And here's the brutal truth. Her team plays better without her. That's not up for debate. It's a fact. The second she's on the bench, the offense flows, the defense locks in, and suddenly it's like watching actual basketball. If she was really the star she thinks she is, her absence would hurt the team, not make them better.
Angel Reese fans are celebrating another double-double. And I do understand a double-double from her and a win, missing your shots.
Now let's flip the script to Caitlin Clark. She doesn't need to force shots or pad her stats. She just dominates, effortlessly. And here's the crazy part. Clark didn't even have to step on the court to outshine Reese. While Reese was out there chasing headlines with her Super Bowl antics, Clark didn't even show up, and her Nike commercial racked up millions of views. She's breaking records without even lifting a finger. Meanwhile, Reese is struggling to get people to care about her actual games. Clark's mere presence is enough to break viewership records, while Reese is out here relying on controversy just to get noticed.
That's crazy. Just by her going to the game, it's the second most watched NCAA game. Like, that's crazy. That just shows how popular she is right now.
The one thing I would say about Caitlin Clark fans, they'll go anywhere she goes.
And let's not ignore the obvious. One player is focused on basketball, the other is focused on fame. Clark is in the gym, locked in, while Reese is busy chasing photo ops, complaining about WNBA salaries, and pretending to be a victim whenever things don't go her way.
Whatever she thinks she is or she's moving the needle, no. People are reaching for their remote when her games come on and clicking to something else. They're tuning out.
Reese's Super Bowl stunt revealed everything that's off with her approach. She talks a big game, but when it's time to deliver, it's just missed layups and excuses. While she was busy stealing the spotlight, Clark was doing what she does best, perfecting her craft, inspiring millions, and showing exactly why she's the face of women's basketball.
Crazy about this. The numbers were much better than NBA legend Kobe Bryant's jersey retirement ceremony on December 18, 2017 on Iowa versus USC February 3rd. It was also the second most watched game in NCAA history, just by her going to the game.
While the unrivaled league is fighting for relevance, what does Reese do? Skip practice, start a podcast, whine about her paycheck, and chase every celebrity event in sight. Her priorities couldn't be clearer, and none of them involve actually getting better at basketball.
This is why Angel Reese's game is never going to get better, y'all. Her mom telling her this, and her fans are the same exact way. Zero accountability, bro. Imagine this, y'all. You playing basketball in front of the whole world. People have been constantly criticizing your game, and you messing up on the court. There's all this film and everything about what you need to do better and what you're messing up on. And your mom is just sitting here telling you, well, forget them. Just forget them, bro. Like, that's terrible advice.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is the definition of locked in. She's not skipping practice or chasing clout. Even at the Super Bowl, she was doing drills, staying focused, and representing the game with class. That's the difference. One is building a legacy, the other is building a highlight reel for Instagram.
Like we see why Angel Reese is the way that she is. Man, look at how her mom is just talking to her, telling her just forget them, bro. But then y'all are so mad that the world doesn't like her and talk so much shit about her, bro.
Right.
And then she's like, oh, everybody misses layups. I'm so tired of this everybody misses layups thing. Yes, a whole bunch of basketball players miss layups, but people are not missing layups like Angel Reese.
And here's the plot twist. Even Reese's own fans are starting to wake up. They're realizing the truth. She's all talk. She complains about being underpaid, but isn't putting in the work to show she's worth more. Meanwhile, Clark is setting the standard for young athletes, staying focused on growth and actually improving her game.
Caitlin Clark, she declined an invitation to participate in a special challenge during NBA All-Star Weekend next month. That's what Shams reported on Wednesday. Now, Clark's representatives, they expressed her desire to have her first three-point contest be at the WNBA All-Star in Indianapolis this summer. Shanae, I'm not mad at it. What do you make of this decision?
Look, I not only respect it, I absolutely wholeheartedly support.
Well, it's official, you guys. Caitlin Clark is not competing in the three-point contest at NBA All-Star.
What happens when the biggest star in women's basketball says no to the NBA? Caitlin Clark, a record-breaking force and trailblazer on the court, just did exactly that. In a move that's sparking controversy and shaking up sports media, Clark turned down an invitation to join the NBA's three-point contest at All-Star Weekend. Rather than stepping into the spotlight as the NBA's special attraction, she's making a bold statement about where true recognition belongs. Stay tuned as we dive into how this decision is flipping the script and what it means for the future of the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark knows how to use the word that many people struggle all their lives being able to use. Some of us never get it till we're old and just don't care no more. The word, take a guess. Take a guess.
Controversy, debate, and, of course, ESPN's outrage. Caitlin Clark, the beacon of the WNBA's future, has just declined an invitation to participate in the NBA's three-point contest at All-Star Weekend.
Well, it has just been confirmed from Shams that Caitlin Clark will not be competing in the NBA three-point contest. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark will not participate in the NBA All-Star Special three-point shootout in San Francisco and wants her first three-point contest to be at WNBA All-Star in Indianapolis this summer. Her representatives at Excel Sports.
Rather than celebrating her choice, the sports media exploded into chaos. Some argue she's simply dodging the competition, while others believe she's boldly championing the WNBA. So what's the true story behind her decision, and why is ESPN so incensed? Stick around because we're unpacking every detail right now. All right, let's jump in. The Caitlin Clark saga has been dominating headlines nonstop. In case you haven't caught wind of it, Caitlin Clark, the undeniable superstar of women's basketball, recently declined an invitation to compete in the NBA's three-point contest during this year's All-Star Weekend. And wow, opinions are flying everywhere. From ESPN to NBA fans and WNBA supporters, everyone is weighing in as the debate continues to heat up.
The momentum that Caitlin Clark has this season, with her being close to being the face of basketball, both men's and women's this year, I just thought it was the perfect stage. And then obviously, the possibility of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson teaming up once again back in Golden State and doing that home reunion thing, and then having Sabrina and Caitlin. To me, it just sounded like so much fun, and it would definitely bring a little spark to NBA All-Star that NBA All-Star, unfortunately, hasn't.
Let's be honest, Caitlin Clark is the biggest name in women's basketball right now. She's more than just a player. She's a phenomenon. Every time she steps onto the court, she shatters records, fills arenas, and pulls in huge TV audiences. So when she decided to pass on the NBA's invitation, it wasn't just a scheduling conflict, it was a powerful statement. One that clearly caught ESPN and many sports analysts off guard. So what prompted her to make this call? Is she intimidated by the competition? Did she miscalculate? Or is she strategically setting the stage for the future, making a power move that still has many scratching their heads?
Is another testament to where she is in the hierarchy of the sports food chain and, the ladder of power and influence. Because Caitlin Clark is Steph Curry and LeBron James. Like, she's, there's no difference. A great philosopher once said there's levels to this. She's on that.
Here's the reality about Caitlin Clark. She knows exactly what she's worth. She's not just some player thrilled to get an invite to a high-profile event. She understands that wherever she goes, the cameras roll, the money flows, and the fans rally. So when the opportunity to participate in an NBA event came along, she didn't jump at it like a rookie trying to prove herself. Instead, she made it clear, "Thanks, but I'll pass. I'll host my first three-point contest on my own terms, in my own league."
You see Caitlin Clark using her power to benefit the WNBA, saying, not that she'd never do anything with the NBA, but that she's not going to do it this time because the first time should be with the WNBA in front of the Fever fans.
And that's exactly what's setting off a firestorm of reactions. For years, women's basketball players have been fighting tooth and nail for recognition, respect, and financial support. The WNBA has long been cast in the shadow of the NBA, and whenever a female athlete earns a smidgen of mainstream acclaim, there's this lingering expectation that she should be grateful for even the smallest scraps of attention from the men's league. But Caitlin Clark isn't subscribing to that narrative, she's rewriting it. She made it abundantly clear that she wants her inaugural three-point contest to take place at the WNBA All-Star Game, right in front of her hometown fans in Indiana. And let's be real, that's a savvy move. Why settle for being the NBA's special guest when she can be the headliner of her own show? Why help prop up the NBA's All-Star Weekend ratings when she can shine the spotlight on the WNBA instead? Of course, not everyone is on board with her decision. The moment she turned down the offer, sports analysts went into overdrive. ESPN pundits began to debate whether she was making a grave error, questioning her judgment, while the usual skeptics claimed she was merely dodging competition. Dodging competition? Come on. Caitlin Clark has never shied away from a challenge. She's been demolishing defenses and shattering records her entire career. If she really wanted to join the NBA's three-point contest, she'd be more than capable of holding her own. But that's precisely the point. She refused because she knows her worth, and she refuses to let others call the shots for her. Stephen A. Smith, as per usual, had a lot to say on the matter. For once, he actually backed Clark's decision, though not without throwing in some of his trademark commentary. He noted that last year's WNBA All-Star Game smashed records by drawing in 3.4 million viewers, while the NBA's All-Star Game struggled to hit numbers anywhere near its former glory. The NBA's All-Star Weekend has been losing its luster, no secret there, and it's obvious they were banking on Caitlin Clark to give them a ratings boost. Let's break that down for a moment. The NBA isn't exactly at its prime during All-Star Weekend. The dunk contest has lost its charm, and even the All-Star Game itself is treated more like a casual exhibition than a true contest. Viewership has been on a steady decline, and the overall energy just isn't what it used to be. So when Caitlin Clark enters the picture, a player who's been single-handedly driving TV ratings through the roof and filling arenas, it's clear the NBA saw a golden opportunity. And frankly, from their standpoint, it made total sense. Imagine the buzz. Caitlin Clark going head-to-head with the NBA's best in a three-point contest. The intrigue alone would pull in millions of viewers. But that's exactly why she declined. She recognized that she was being positioned merely as a ratings tool, and she wasn't about to let that happen. Let's not kid ourselves. If she had accepted, the aftermath would have been just as contentious, albeit for different reasons. A win might have been dismissed as merely a shooting contest, not genuine competition. A loss would have fueled claims that the WNBA just can't compare to the NBA. There was no scenario in which she could emerge unscathed in that setup. Instead, she delivered a bold message. The WNBA matters. She's not a novelty act or a side attraction for the NBA's All-Star Weekend. She's the star of her own league. This move might just be one of the most significant power plays we've seen from a women's basketball player in a long time. It's not about avoiding one contest. It's about transforming the narrative around the WNBA. For too long, critics have argued that women's sports depend on the men's leagues to survive, that without the NBA's support, the WNBA couldn't flourish. But Caitlin Clark is proving that theory wrong. She's driving ticket sales, setting new records, and making women's basketball a must-watch spectacle all on its own. Consider this. Just last year, the WNBA saw a surge in both viewership and merchandise sales. The Indiana Fever, the team Clark plays for, accounted for nearly half of the league's entire broadcast value. Half. That's a staggering figure, and it's all thanks to her influence. She's demonstrating that the WNBA doesn't need to rely on the NBA's leftovers to thrive. It can stand tall with its own stars, its own storylines, and its own dedicated fan base. That's why this decision is so monumental. She's setting a new standard. She's telling the next generation of female athletes, you don't have to latch onto the men's league for validation. You can be the main event in your own right. And the impact is already evident. What began as a decision over a three-point contest has blossomed into a full-blown conversation about the future of women's basketball. That's the magnitude of her influence. So yes, ESPN might be seething, the NBA might feel let down, and some fans might be left scratching their heads. But Caitlin Clark is in complete control of her narrative. She's playing the long game, building something far bigger than a single contest. And honestly, you have to respect that.